Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's episode.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are again on a Tuesday. Who's gay? Maybe me and you. If there was no hate, no girls left on the planet, 'cause sometimes being around them I can't stand it. I used to sit with my best friend, watching TV, having a great time, and just be like, man, this would be better if we were just married to each other. No girls, no drama, we can go and get tacos and not worry about cleaning up our mess. No stress, and only thing stopping us is the sex. There's just some things that, like, I just can't defeat the final boss when it comes to having a marriage with my best friend, you know? It's just everything else. It's the dirtiest trick that God ever did was convince man that he couldn't marry man, you know? It's a goddamn shame, I tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to Tuesday. If it's your first time here, welcome. You're in for a wacky ride, I tell you that much. Okay? Welcome. We had quite the weekend. Quite the weekend. Should we start off with the big thing that's happened all over social media? The Super Bowl. I'll be honest with you. Your boy watched the Super Bowl. I'm not really someone who gets involved with the Super Bowl. I can't really watch football. I'm sorry. I try. You know, I've tried to sit down with people who are into it and be like, hey, all right, let's watch. But I'm just like, come on, let's get this show on the road. So many commercials. And listen, Super Bowl commercials suck. There, I said it, controversial. All right, I kind of thought that sound effect was going to be something different, but the show must go on, okay? Listen, Super Bowl commercials suck. That's all they care about. Money, okay? That's the only reason they're there. And the thing is it feels like here, and you're gonna be like, that makes sense. That's what it is. The entire form of entertainment has progressed, where Super Bowl commercials used to be like this crazy thing, like just the art form of like, oh my God, the Super Bowl commercials, we're having fucking stallions playing football, you know? And just like all these crazy commercials that it used to be. And like, oh my God, look at these celebrity cameos in these crazy regular commercials. How wacky, you know? Or be like, Harrison Ford, you're not a bus driver, you know? Like that's how Super Bowl commercials used to be. And we used to love them because we were wacky. We were wacky into that whack bonk humor, that oh yeah, wink wonk, tweet, 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 tweet. Twitter bars. Fucking stuttered through that one. Listen, the whole form of entertainment has moved forward. Into the forward we have gone with entertainment, our levels, okay? From everything from just the way movie trailers, go back and watch a movie trailer from the 90s. They pretty much laid out the entire movie and some guy just talked you through it. There is one man who can stand the test of time. I can stand the test of time. And it was just like the dumbest shit. And it would be like, will he save the world? And then it's just like, and then it's like, make out with all the girls. Yeah, it worked. Thank God it worked. And it's just so slow. You watch it now and you're just like, oh, this is wacky. Now we're still in that phase of action trailers. Everything's cut with bullets where it's like, nah, I love it. When it's like, boom, like everything is timed up where you're having like the drum percussions be like the bullets hitting like, and then the Rock's just like, freeze! If you smell what I'm cooking, you know? And it's like, The Rock plays The Rock again for the 50th time in The Rock Let's be honest. Every single movie The Rock plays, he has the biggest crossover movie of all time. People want to talk about Marvel movies and the cinematic universes and fucking the new Spider-Man movie with the way that all the Spider-Mans crossed in the multiverse. No, The Rock plays the same person in every movie. He's just doing that now. Every single movie The Rock is in, he's the same goddamn character. He's the same person. He's Dwayne The Rock Johnson, just getting involved with some shady characters. And I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. I love Dwayne The Rock Johnson with all his motivational stuff. I think what he's accomplished is amazing. But Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I thought that was going to be something different. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. You took shots at Joe Rogan. And for what? Exactly. If you don't know, there was this whole thing where Joe Rogan was getting canceled. And he came out and did this public apology, which, yeah, do your thing, be honest, be upfront. Say your piece of the narrative so they just can't spin it on you. Sometimes people go silent and it's always not the best move. And that's what he felt like he could do and what he wanted to do. Fucking do it. Who gives a shit? Don't listen to anybody else. And then The Rock comments on it. Oh, this is so profound, brother. You know, very thorough and great and blah, blah, blah. And I can't wait to come on your podcast and share some tequila with you. Ha, ha, ha. All right. And then he fucking went and did some dips. And then he started catching all this backlash, cancel culture. The thing is, all these people who are like, how could you do this and blah, blah, blah. They're 1% of a 1% that are making all the noise. There was that crazy statistic that something like 3% of Twitter makes 97% of the content. There's just these people who are shut-ins and all they do is tweet all day long. They're just like, bah, 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 whatever they can squawk at because they're fucking miserable. You know what it's like? Do you ever see the movie The Little Mermaid? Don't pretend like you haven't. You remember those little creatures that Ursula had down in her little fucking lair? Yo, side note, I had a weird crush on Ursula when I was a little kid. Just a thick octopus woman. I was there for it when I was a little kid. Anyway, not part of the story. Those little creatures that Ursula has that she turned Ariel's dad into, that's what I imagine those people who are making all of the Twitter content are. They're just down there in the depths of the ocean going, deplatform Joe Rogan, toxic, you know? And then they're like, oh, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, how could you do this when you represent so many people? I'm sorry for the free ASMR podcast if you're not into that with the little, but listen, it's ridiculous. And then taken out of context, this whole Joe Rogan using the N-word thing, and someone was like, tweeted at The Rock, and he says, how could you do this? By the way, a straight white male who apparently, if you dive into his stuff, has used the hard R N-word a lot in his writing. But just because Joe said it in context, it's different than you writing it. Listen, if you want to call someone out for using the N-word, you better never even use a G and an R in the same sentence. Okay? Stupid. Anyway, he posted, how could you do this, The Rock, when his prolific use of the N-word over and over again. You represent culture, and The Rock just completely backtracks. It might not have even been The Rock. It may have been just his publicist. And he was like, you know what? I didn't know that before I supported him. And so I completely don't agree with what was going on. And I'm going to take this as a learning moment. Dude, you want to piss me off? Be someone who uses the terms a learning moment. This has been a learning moment for me. And I should just sit down and let these voices talk. Shut the fuck up. It just fires me up. Okay, we don't need all the effects. We're getting a little too wacky. We're getting real whack bonk on this. What are we, a Super Bowl commercial from the 90s? Call back. But it's ridiculous, this whole thing. And that's like, when The Rock came out, I was like, well, why the fuck do you even get involved? You ever had someone who really wanted to help you with something, and they were just like, yeah, dude, like, whatever it is, they were like this project, and they're just like, yeah, man, I'm going to be there. I'll help you with it. We'll do this. We'll do that. All this stuff. And then you're like, are you sure, man? Like, it's totally fine. Like, if you don't. And then the day comes and they're like, hey, man, listen, it's just, I got a lot going on right now. I'd love to help you, but like, man, I just don't have the bandwidth to be able to do this right now, And you're like, motherfucker, I don't care. Why did you get involved if you're just going to make it seem like I'm burdening you? You're the one who wanted to do this shit. You got involved, baby. Never blended in with the big dogs, kick rocks. Doesn't make sense. But you get what I'm trying to say? Like, why did you even get involved, The Rock? Because you made it a point on something that was controversial to show support. And I get it. You're a very good guy from what it seems like. But it's like, these are the moments that are very important for free speech. These are those moments to make a stand and to understand context, because you know who's suffering? Like, that's the thing. What you don't realize is now there's a flip side to everything going on. And if you want to start calling people out and want to pretend like you're better than people or you don't have any skeletons, there's a whole nother side of the argument that's ready to call you on your shit. And that's what is starting to happen, because a lot of people were upset that The Rock just completely flipped sides and was like, this is a learning moment and blah, blah, blah. We need to be better. People dug up footage of The Rock doing some things by today's standards that would be considered racist, harmful to other communities. And it looks bad. It looks bad for a couple reasons, because it's hypocritical. When we start canceling people for things out of context that were acceptable at those times in culture, you can't do that, because then we're saying we haven't learned. We can't grow. If that's the case, there's no way we can forgive people or expect people to change if we don't acknowledge that it's possible for humans to change and for culture to change and for real progress. And that's the weird thing, is like Joe Rogan saying, like, I realize how that is. And by standards, I shouldn't have said that. I regret it. And I would never say it now. Cool. Great. And that's the thing, is he was apologizing for things out of context, what it looked like. But it's also like things just progress in cultures, and we have to realize that those were different times, and we have to judge people based off those times. We can't keep going into the past and canceling people, because guess what? There's going to be a lot of people now saying things that are going to be canceled in the future, straight up. And it is what it is, and that's why we have to change the way we handle these situations, because it's not based in reality. Go after people who really are racist. Go after people who really are withholding people from having opportunities. There's real bad people out there, and it's like, you only have a certain amount of rocket fuel, certain amount of bandwidth in your life. You don't want to waste it on catching people that aren't their intentions and who they are now. That doesn't represent. There's real bad people. Go after them. Go find them. But the thing is, it's a lot harder to seek those people out, and you have to actually take action rather than just pointing a finger and saying, hey, look at these mean videos. We didn't even mean to get on that shit. No song. We're too fired up right now. Okay. But The Rock, I don't even know how we got there. Oh yeah, The Rock in every movie. We're getting right back to the beginning of this. The Super Bowl commercials. They're lazy now. Okay, we talked about them, but they're doing the same thing. They're not really pushing the envelope. They're just trying to milk these Super Bowl commercial spots with these. It's just all celebrity, and it's just like, what are we doing? We gotta adapt with the times. The one thing I do love, Jurassic World trailer that dropped yesterday. Holy shit, it looked amazing. So excited for the new Jurassic World movie. I'll be honest with you. Your boy has a fascination with dinosaurs. So much so. First, I'll tell you, fascination runs deep. Jurassic Park, I remember seeing it. My mom was hosting a baby shower for a friend at our house, and my dad took all the kids to get us out of the house for a while so they could do their womanly shit. Evan, you canceled in the future. So we went and watched Jurassic Park, the first one. I loved it. I was fascinated with it, but I also had so much respect for the dinosaurs. I was like, these creatures should not live amongst us. They are so dangerous. I remember watching the part where the raptor jumps up to grab the girl's leg, Timmy's sister, and my legs jump up in the movie theater all the way up to like my shoulders. My dad was just dying laughing at me. But I was so terrified by the raptors and the way the T-Rex, like outside the window when it's like, when they're in the cars and they're trying not to, like, and they're broken down. I slept in the closet that night and I didn't even have a flashlight. I had a lamp because I was like, I need to be tied in a 24-hour power here. Okay. Batteries are going to die. That's when the raptors rush in. But if I'm patrolling and I'm aiming the lamp, I'm literally aiming it like it's a fucking assault rifle. I'm aiming it around the room, looking around the hallway. I would army crawl out of the closet and look down the hallway, down the stairs, just looking for dinosaurs that snuck in overnight. Okay? And I saw the Jurassic World trailer yesterday, and it planted a seed because your boy loves storytelling. I'm obsessed with telling stories, with reading stories, with hearing stories. Everything about stories are amazing to me. It's the best way that my brain learns. When I have to learn something, if you use metaphors or stories, your boy is in. That whole teach a man to fish thing, it makes my willy tingle, okay? So whenever I see a movie and a plot, and sometimes when I really like a story, like Jurassic Park, and, you know, especially with the way the last Jurassic World ended, if you're a movie buff or you just have seen one of the top grossing movies of all time, Jurassic World 2, Fallen Kingdom, you know that dinosaurs got released on American soil and international because there was a black market event, auction, dinosaurs were sold, they escaped, they went all over the world. So there's this idea that dinosaurs are now going to be all over the planet. They're going to different places. I have a friend who's also in the movies a lot, and we talk about plot ideas. Like, we'll sit there and we'll be like, you know, what would be cool is if they did this. And my idea for what the third Jurassic World should be is a world where dinosaurs come back and they're now mixing with people. Well, what do dinosaurs have that people haven't experienced? Just like the Native Americans when people from Europe and Columbus came, you know, and the Spaniards came, disease. So I said, it would be a cool plot if there was a worldwide pandemic of a prehistoric illness, you know, fucking dino virus 19. And about 70% of humans were wiped out. They're dealing with a pandemic, but also the huge thing of dinosaurs are now starting to populate. Have the movie take part or pick back up 10 years into this. We're now in an apocalyptic world, but dinosaurs, because that's the thing about all the other Jurassic Park movies is they were all contained. Yeah, we had that fucking T-Rex in San Diego, but come on, fucking San Diegoans could have fucking took that thing out, fucking breakfast burritos right by the coast, you know? There's so many military people in San Diego that it was never going to be an issue. But now let's really go big and have it actually be a Jurassic World. Now we're in a complete world where dinosaurs have kind of taken over, and now we're on the verge of extinction, not these creatures. Because that's the thing, Jurassic World 2, Fallen Kingdom, they were on the verge of extinction. They were never really a world threat. So I just thought that was a cool plot. And it's not too far off from what the plot they went with the trailer. But here's what I'm getting at. Here's the whole point of telling you what my synopsis of the movie was. What happened? By doing that yesterday, your boy planted a seed in his own mind that when he went to bed, it flourished into a giant oak tree. So much so, your bro had violent dinosaur dreams for at least 5 hours, okay? Most of my night was consumed with waking up in a panic sweat, falling back asleep, waking up in a Jurassic era, and falling back asleep, waking up, just fucking panic, thinking that dinosaurs are attacking him the entire night. And it was the creepiest thing. You know how in dreams you can't run good or you're just in terrible situations? That's what it was. And I was back at my parents' house with my family, with my fiance, with my dog. Do you know how terrifying it is to try to be keeping everyone alive when dogs are barking? It's just like they're fucking beacons, but you can't just throw them out. Like I can't abandon Beowulf like that. Beowulf has been there for the dark times, so I need to be there for her, okay? And my little yappy dog that's at my parents' house, Cooney. There's one part in the dream where I can hear Cooney, my little dog, it's like a Chihuahua mix, at the top of my parents' yard. They have a half acre, and I can hear her barking, and I hear fucking like Stegosaurus over the fence. So I have to jump off the balcony, sprint up, avoiding dinosaurs to get this goddamn little dog and hold her mouth while we sprint back to the house. I get back inside, there's a goddamn T-Rex coming through the window. At the end of the dream, there's a moment because the T-Rex got inside. Listen, physics are weird when you're in a dream. Okay, I don't know how this T-Rex got in, didn't break the whole house apart, but it was in there. But this motherfucker said, "This is my house." It starts taking a nap. I create this system over it with a chainsaw and metal pipes to set it up where it's sleeping so that it will fall down and cut its head off. That's where your boy was emotionally, okay? And I had this plan that I had like a screwdriver. It was sleeping like this. I was going to jab it in the eye so it woke up abruptly, went up against the chainsaw, the pipes went down, took its whole fucking head out. That's how dark your boy's brain gets in these kind of worlds, okay? That's where I was, having to do whatever I had to do for my dog to survive at the end of the day, okay? It is what it is, and I don't apologize for being that aggressive, okay? I got Puerto Rican blood. It runs fucking hot, okay? It's all sunshine and rainbows as long as dinosaurs don't come back, okay? This dream was so real that when I stabbed, I went for it, the T-Rex in the eyeball, it bucks up and I wake up in a panic again. It's about 7:15 in the morning. And my first thought was, I need to get an assault rifle just in case dinosaurs ever come back. Swear to God, hand on Bible, that was my first thought when I woke up this morning. Even if it's never going to happen, you'd rather have it just in case a dinosaur tries to break in. That's where I'm at emotionally, everybody. Okay? That's where I'm at. Listen, we spent way too long talking about Jurassic World. That's what we're going to call this episode, maybe. Something about Jurassic Park. If you're now just getting this part, you're like, oh, the title makes sense. But before, we have to end on this, though. We have to at least talk about this. The Super Bowl halftime. The Super Bowl halftime is one of those Sixth Sense twists at the end of the movie where you realize you're old. Okay? Because there is never, this is what actually got me to watch the Super Bowl. Was that it was such a fire lineup. Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Kendrick Lamar, Eminem, and surprise appearance by 50 Cent, and I didn't forget the best for last, Mary J. Blige. Let's get it poppin'. Phenomenal. And that's the thing is I realized, oh fuck, I'm old now because now the Superbowl show is geared towards me. Okay? You remember how it's always been these old people? Like, what was it when they had like the Beach Boys and the Rolling Stones and all these old bands, and you're like, why the fuck are they there? Like, who's watching this? So then, you know, why are people excited about this? But then I'm like, oh shit, I'm getting old. But straight up, the greatest Super Bowl halftime show I've ever seen. Okay. They killed it. Eminem killed it. Dr. Dre has to be the greatest music producer of all time. And I know that's a hot thing to say for a genre. I mean, in this genre, okay? Because we got orchestral producers and people that are legendary that, you know, people get so upset about because they're like, you don't know real music. And you're like, and I'm like, hey, maybe you're right. But it was phenomenal. I love Dr. Dre's cinematic style. I love his drums. I love the production. There's something that he does where it's almost like a white glove production where it's like he just wraps it all up so nice. It's the illusion. It's everything going on. Similar to if you haven't seen it live at I want to say the Rose Bowl, Kanye West. I think it's on Amazon Prime. If carve out an hour, watch Kanye West's most recent performance at, I want to say it's the Rose Bowl, where he had Drake as a guest, but Drake came on and did like one song. It was so disrespectful to say Drake was a guest. Oh, he literally meant he was just a guest to watch. And then he came on for one song, and even before that song, Kanye did Drake's song. So it's like, that's weird. That's kind of disrespectful, right? But it was a great performance. Definitely made me realize I was old. And you know what? There's a remix of a stroke happening in my brain. I've accepted that I'm getting older. Not like I'm gonna go like it's over, where I'm just like, time to get the walkers, time to stop doing this. I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna go violently into that long good night. You're never gonna see me give up in the sense of life. I'm going to be that 90-year-old out there still swinging for the fences. I might not cognitively be there emotionally. I might not know that I'm swinging for fences. I might be thinking they might be imaginary bats in the air that I'm just swinging at, still swinging for fences. Okay. But you know what I realize? I realize this too, is that, you know how YouTube sometimes just gets, like, I go on YouTube on my TV now because I'm old. I start watching Pawn Stars. Ooh, what are the 5 most rarest pistols ever sold at Pawn Stars? Ooh, hottest negotiation tactics ever at Pawn Stars. And you know what? It's always blue balls. Could you expect it to be phenomenal? You think it's going to be like, oh, wow. But it's always like, yeah, okay, well, so he came through. You said it was worth $5,000? Okay. And then the guy's like, yeah, I'd like to get $5,000 for it. And then fucking Rick is just like, well, the best I'm going to do is I can give you $1,500 for it. Okay, listen, this is going to sit on my shelf for a while. I'm taking all the risk for it. It's not a huge market, as he said. And, you know, he gets pretty excited about these things. So the best I can do is $1,500. And then the guy's like, oh, that's awfully low. I mean, can we do 4? He's like, I can do $1,200. Okay, now you're on my TV show and I'm going to bully you into giving me this deal. And that's the other thing is I'm like, how true is Pawn Stars? I'm sure in the beginning, you know, I'm sure there's real negotiations, but they have to be completely staged now, right? Like you can't just have people go in and it just be real. And it's just like, you know, someone brings I don't know, old dead man's dick in there and they're just like, hey, whoa, we can't have this. Like they obviously select it. There has to be like some kind of application to let you go on Pawn Stars for an opportunity to sell it. And I wonder if there's the agreed upon price before that. You know, listen, all I want are reality shows that are real. Okay. I think that's why we're fascinated with podcasts, documentaries, and things when you're like, it's real life. And I feel like the era of reality TV fucked all that up because it fed on our want of real things. But then it started giving us all this fake shit that made us really jaded, you know? And then just like Super Bowl commercials need to get better, reality commercials, reality shows turned into social media. And I feel like we're going to slowly start getting out of the era of social media. But who knows? We might be so fucking latched into the metaverse and everything going on with that we might not ever get out of this, you know? You know what I kind of hope happens? I kind of hope everybody who invested in NFTs in the metaverse just lose all their money with it for being so annoying. All the Bitcoin, everything. I have Bitcoin. I'm willing to sacrifice the money that I have in it just so Gary V has to switch his take on NFTs, you know? But it's going to be wild. I really do think in the future that the metaverse couldn't be an amazing thing. I don't think Facebook should be the one in charge of it. I think, dude, Mark Zuckerberg is a goddamn robot. And I don't know if he should be the one at the helm of leading this new world. I feel like it needs to be like open source or something. But that's going to be nuts, like living in the future, like of the metaverse, of virtual reality in such a bigger way than we've experienced it. Because I always thought that, like, you know, when grandparents tried playing video games, it was always like funny to watch them fidget with like fucking Pong and all of that and like old computer games. And then it's like me, I'm proficient at playing video games, Warzone and everything. But it's like when I have kids, they're not going to play that. They're going to be in a world strapped in doing fucking backflips and being like, hey, dad, you want to fucking play? And then just beat the shit out of me in the metaverse. Isn't that crazy? You're going to, like, your kid, like, when they're like 7-year-old, and it's going to be like, you just like gave them the belt and they're just like, how about we go play a game? You know, how about we, you know, want to make it up to me? Let's go play a game. And then you show up in the metaverse. You're like, hey, where are you at? And then they just grab you by the throat and they're like, in here, I am God, you know? And then your fucking 7-year-old just choke slams you into the wall. And then since they know how to hack shit, they like won't let you leave the metaverse. And they're like, take it back. You're just like, what the fuck is going on? How crazy would that be? Because there's going to be like weird sensations and stuff in the metaverse. Like if virtual reality, if the human species keeps moving on, we're going to have to reach a point where we can experience like senses in there, right? Like smell and taste and feel and all of that. It's going to have to be like you're feeling good and bad sensations, right? Obviously not to the extremes of like you get shot in Call of Duty and you're like, oh, fuck, you know? But enough, right? Dude, as soon as they figure out pleasure, though, people are gone. There's some people, as soon as they figure out sexual pleasure in the metaverse, there are people you will never see again. You'll just see them by their window looking at you like Schmeagol, just completely pale, bluish, and just behind the curtain, just trying to fucking do DoorDash at night just to make enough money to get back into the metaverse, you know? Just looking like they need some liquids in their body. It's going to be a fun future, though. I wish I could live forever, just so I could see all this shit happening in time, you know? That's always been like my dream. When people are like, if you could wish for anything, what would it be? I would love to be able to sit back and somehow experience all of existence. Just fucking got it, you know? Just sit back and watch like the fucking collision that made Earth. The first creatures coming out of the ocean. I'd be like, go back. Seeing like the first humans. Oh yeah, I watched the documentary last night. Fantastic Fungi. Your boy's gonna do mushrooms. I'm looking for a mushroom shaman. Okay? If you know someone, let me know. All right? I'll fly to your state. I'll go wherever. Thinking about going to Oregon because I think they have like treatment centers there. But Fantastic Fungi like blew my mind in such a good way. Psilocybin and just the way that they use mushrooms. I've heard about this forever, about treating PTSD, depression, traumatic brain injury, you know, dealing with people's past and traumas through psilocybin. And there's been clinics in Germany for years. I've been talking about this for like 10 years, but they've brought it over here and Fantastic Fungi was recommended to me. And it's pretty mind-blowing. So if you have ever been curious about mushrooms in general, not just psychedelic mushrooms, but also just any kind of fungi that you can eat, supplements you can take, it's pretty mind-blowing. It's on Netflix. It's called Fantastic Fungi. So your boy is going to do it. I'm going to find me a shaman, and I'm diving in the spiritual realm, okay? I'm going to get up there with a fucking kaleidoscope in the universe, and I'm just going to see what the fuck happens. But that was something I saw in there, was the stoned ape theory. That belief is that early prehistoric humans that were primate, they think that they came down from the trees, ate mushrooms that grew out of feces, and that's what opened up parts of our brain, and why the skull rapidly changed and grew, and how there's like nerve pathways for language and skill acquisition that were developed from taking psychedelic mushrooms. And that's what they believe helped apes enter the Stone Age, which is kind of like mind-boggling, like early humans and stuff. So it seems like there's some pretty fascinating stuff out there about mushrooms. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to thank you guys for listening to this episode. Okay? I say it all the time, but I love you guys. Thank you. This means the world to me that you guys listen. Sometimes when I check the numbers, I just go, that's wacky. That's real whack punk. Okay? But know that I respect you. I love you. And I miss you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It helps the podcast. And I'll see you on Thursday. And don't forget, I still love you.